Hello everybody. Today we're going to be taking a look at this Compaq Presario 6000. Now usually when I do a video on something I have, whether it be lighting or one of my computers and my collection of them, I usually do some research and try to set it up so it looks nice and, make it professional as I can with the tools and stuff that I have on hand. But I'd like to do some videos that aren't really as professional, I guess you could say. Not that any of mine really are, however I try my best. But while we take a look at this machine, and probably some other videos in the future, I'm just going to kind of go with the flow and we'll go from there, I guess. So anyway, this is my Compaq Presario 6000. I was given this machine along with 3 other desktop computers, I'd say about maybe 2 years ago now. My best friend brought them home from the fire department that he volunteers at, and they used to use this machine along with the 2 others that I have received, which will be in future videos, as a dispatch system. So they would have one on each corner and on a different floor, so they had 3 different areas to access the system. So this is what originally ran the fire department's dispatch system here in the city that I live. So that's pretty cool. Going back a little farther, this machine actually used to belong to the university that I'm going to now. And I'm guessing this particular machine made its way to the fire department through volunteers that also work at the university in the tech department. So, of course, when they're getting rid of old equipment, well, it helps out the fire department, so they can get things like this to help them out. Of course, obviously, they don't have this one anymore. It's now way too old. But pretty unique. It originally started at the university, then went to the fire department, and then came here. So, I guess that's a little background story on the history of where this machine has been. I believe this machine was actually produced in 2002. I didn't really, like I said, do much research on it to see exactly when it was produced, but I believe when I did look it up way back when I first received this machine, I believe it was 2002. Inside, it has a Pentium 4 processor, I believe one of the very early ones, and of course we'll take a look at it here in the video as well. You can see at the top on the machine there's some rings here, and that's not necessarily from the people that used to use the machine. It's actually from me. I use this machine as a nightstand next to my bed, and we have very I guess mineral-rich water here in my rental, and the whole city, really. And the calcium just builds up on everything. So I set my water bottle down, and, well, there's the calcium. But I'm not really planning on having this machine much longer. I'd really like to downsize my computer collection, just because most of them don't really work anymore to the standards that they are supposed to, or have technical problems, and this one actually does have a problem. There's something wrong with the graphics where every once in a while it'll just get all like jaggedy and messed up. I've tried fixing it through various methods, but nothing has really helped. So anyway, we can see that stain there. Of course, there's also the original serial number here as well, and it originally came with Windows XP Home Edition. And if you can see the product key from this far away, well, you can have it. I don't really have a version of Windows XP Home Edition. I use Professional, really. I like that much better. Anyway, on the front here, we can see the disk drive. That's all it says on it, really. Let's see if I can get some better lighting here. Well, it just says Compact Disk Rewritable. So, that's what it has. Of course, it has 2 bays. And we have our floppy disk drive here as well, which I haven't tested, but it does sound like it works when it boots up. You can see it must have came with a color reel monitor at some point in time. I believe that was some type of a, we got good color on our graphics or whatever. I don't really know. We can see the stickers for XP and the Pentium 4 inside. a very well-used power button. You can see the silver
design there coming off of the plastic. But we have the power button there in the middle, a hard drive indicator light, and it looks like just a power light. Down here, below the Presario 6000 logo, we can see a very corroded USB 2.0 ports. Now, I do believe it's 2.0, could be totally wrong with that, but that's my best guess. And as we venture inside of this machine, you will find that it is quite rusted, and that's probably because of the use it got while at the fire department. And we have ventilation here on the bottom as well.
So, I'm going to attempt to turn this thing a little bit. Let me, there we go. So, we have our power supply here at the top. We have our keyboard and mouse, PS2 ports, 4 USB ports. That's pretty neat for a computer from 2002. Serial. You got your printer port, VGA, Ethernet, and the audio jacks that you'd normally have, as well as a modem. Of course, all the stuff that you'd standard see for the time. So, I'll go ahead and open this up, and we'll be right back. So, I took the side cover off here, and I wanted to show you from back here just how clean it is, but you'll see the inside is pretty messed up. However, we do have a date code here. It says the 18th of May 2002. So, I guess my memory was decent enough to remember 2002, but I couldn't really remember anything else. I actually had a hard time opening this thing up, as this the screw here actually also acts as a handle, and it keeps popping out. As you can see, well, there's a handle here, and actually, I forgot that that was there. But usually I would pull it out with this, which probably is the wrong thing to do, but oh well, it worked. Well, we might as well start up here with the power supply, and let me turn this around for you so you don't have to strain yourself trying to read whatever it may have to say. I'm not going to try to read any of it just because it's upside down. But inside, we can see some of the corrosion here again on some of the fins. It's actually not too bad. I did try to clean up this machine as best I could and did get rid of some of the rust here at the bottom. But you can see a lot of it is still here on this front panel. I'm guessing it took in a lot of moisture wherever it was located. But anyway, we have the original disk drive, our floppy disk drive as well, and the original 60 gigabyte hard drive. Actually, yeah, it's 60 gigabytes. I thought for a minute it wasn't, but you can see up there, it does say 60 on it, and that is what this machine actually came with. So, very cool, original hard drive. See the case fan there, and also the CPU fan as well. It is pretty dirty under there. It's kind of hard to clean that. You can see the capacitors at the side there. Our expansion slots here at the bottom with our modem as well. And plenty of other internals here. I believe it originally had only one 256 megabyte stick, but somebody along the line came along and put in a 1 gig stick as well, so it has a gig and 256 on it. So that was a nice little upgrade for this machine at some point in its life. But that's pretty much the insides. There's not much really there, but it got the job done. Okay, so I got the machine set up here, all plugged in and ready to go. And keeping with the theme of free, well, this wasn't exactly free. I got this monitor at the local thrift store for $2.50, and it works just fine. The only problem is that it has a really weird resolution. Believe it or not, it also says it's an HD monitor, which it is. It's 720p, exactly. And it's from some eMachines computer, which I didn't have at the thrift store. There you have the matching keyboard and mouse, but I didn't get that. Talking about the keyboard and mouse, this is the keyboard and mouse that actually came with this computer. Each of the computers I received also came with keyboards and mice. So I believe this is the original keyboard to this very computer. I don't really know. I suppose we could look on the other side and see if we see a date code or something. I guess I don't see one just by glancing here, but it's a older keyboard, of course. We have some type of a lifting up thing here, so I'm guessing little templates could fit inside of there, marking these buttons, and then you can use the buttons as they're marked, or whatever application it's set up for. I don't exactly know. Now, one interesting thing that I noticed is that this older keyboard looks very similar to the modern HP keyboards. I had to go grab one real quick. Obviously, HP acquired Compaq, and it doesn't look like they changed very much between the keyboards of what, Windows 2000 and Windows 7. So fonts and everything are pretty close to the same. Now, of course, we'll get that out of the way. This isn't a Compaq mouse, it's a Dell, what does it say, by Microsoft mouse, and it's pretty well used, at least here on the top, pretty grimy, haven't really cleaned it up, haven't actually tested it either. So we'll find out here if it works. So, everything is plugged in and ready to go. Let me go ahead and put you on the tripod here so you don't have to try to have my shaky hands hold you in front of the monitor here. Wow, that's totally slanted. That's a little better. Anyway, I'm going to press the power button here in 3, 2, 1. And it shut down for some reason. Oh, wait, it came back to life. I don't know why it did that. But here we are trying again. Let me turn off some of these lights. It's a very rainy, gloomy day outside today. So, what a better time to do something like this. Now, it looks like I'm getting some type of an error code on the keyboard. So let me go ahead and power it off here real quick. The 1 key keeps flashing. You know, they have the 1 and the A for caps lock and all that good stuff. So let me try unplugging and replugging in these PS2 devices here. Let's see if we get a different result. Well, it turned off again like that. And it turned back on. I still don't know why it's doing that. Well, we're still getting a blinking light here on the keyboard. So, unfortunately, I don't really have the initiative, I guess you could say, to figure out what the problem is. So, we're going to go ahead here and turn it off again. Holding down the button. Of course, that's obviously not the not a very kind thing to do to the computer, but it works. I'm going to plug in that HP keyboard and mouse because I have used USB keyboards and mice with this computer without any problem. So let me try that. So I now have those things plugged in, and let's turn it on. And it turned off again. I really don't know why it does that. It hasn't done that before. Very weird. We'll see if we get anything this time, or if it's just going to do something else. We don't have any beep codes. Looking at it, we don't really have anything flashing on the computer either. So let me set down this keyboard and mouse here. And I'll take it off the tripod and we'll take a look. We can see we don't even have a hard drive light blinking. So something must be wrong. So let me see what we can do. Okay, so I went ahead and reseated the memory, and let's see if that makes a difference. I also plugged back in the PS2 mouse and keyboard so we can test those things out, of course, if the RAM was the problem. So let's go ahead and turn this thing on. 3, 2, 1. Well, it's booting up now. It's definitely a lot better than it was a minute ago, where it was starting up and then shutting down and then turning on again. I guess I should have tried reseating the RAM before doing that 3 times, or however many times I did it. This is very slanted, so let's see if I can straighten it out there just a little bit so it's not too crazy. Well, our Dell mouse by Microsoft is working just fine. Haven't used one of these rollerball mice in a long time. So I'm going to bring it over here and use it on my pants. And it works just fine there too. So, the machine doesn't take too long to boot up. And that's, I believe, most in part to the Pentium 4 processor that's inside. I believe it's a 1.8 or 1.9 gigahertz Pentium 4, and yeah, it does pretty well for itself. Of course, not too well in today's day and age, but it gets by. Now, you can see down here, I'd normally have a Wi-Fi dongle plugged into this machine, however, I don't have it here on hand, and doing things on the internet is quite slow. You can load a general web page, but doing anything beyond that, and it does get quite difficult. But let's go over and we'll see some of the applications that I've installed on here, and I'll put this back on the table because it's not working so well on my pants. We can see I only installed a couple of things. Firefox, an old version of Chrome, Avast, iTunes, and that's about it. Didn't install the CPU Z here so that we can take a look at the CPU itself. Looks like it's an older version, but that's okay, it does the same stuff. So here we can see everything about that you wanted to know for the Pentium 4 inside of this machine. So pretty cool. There's all of its information. Caches, main board, yada yada yada. I believe it doesn't show anything for any of these. No. You see the graphics. It has Intel integrated graphics with some insanely long name. I believe it has, 64 megabytes of shared memory. So yeah, there's the information about the processor. So let's go ahead and take a look at system information, which it looks like I clicked on quite a bit because it ended up here in the frequently accessed applications. I was going to go like this and shove it at the top, but that doesn't work in Windows XP. So as you can see, we do have XP and all the information about the system itself. We can see the memory showing up here, the gig stick, and the 256 megabyte stick as well. And I suppose we'll go take a look at just one other thing. And just like the CPU Z showed us, we can get all the information about the onboard graphics in this machine. Now it does act up from time to time, like I was stating earlier. It's not doing it right now, but when it starts doing it, it gets pretty bad. So something's obviously wrong with something on this motherboard. But anyway, of course, you can use the web browsers. They're going to be pretty old. One nice thing is that this does have the SSE2 instruction
set on it, unlike some of the machines from this time, especially, I can't think of it off the top of my head, but other processors that didn't have that just yet. So they even have an older version of Firefox and Chrome and things like that. Now, of course, this would update to the ESR release for XP and Vista. However, since it's not connected to the internet, let's get rid of that. It won't be able to do it. But as I was saying earlier, you can, browse like forums and things like that. But once you start doing anything more, it does get bogged down pretty fast. Anyway, pretty unique machine. So let's go ahead and shut it down for probably the last time, because I would like to actually use this as a parts machine. So, we took a nice little look around of this Compaq Presario 6000, and probably in the next video I will be taking it apart. So, I hope you enjoyed this video. I enjoyed making it, really. I didn't have to, I really like doing the videos like this, where I can sit down and just talk with you all and share the items I have. I enjoy doing that with all my other videos as well, but doing it like this is also nice. Anyway, I really do hope you enjoyed, and also please comment, rate, and subscribe, and thank you very much for watching.